Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. My name is Baron Collins Hill, and in this week's lesson, we're going to be talking about a little bit of a pinky tip, something I've been working on in my own playing, and hopefully it will help you out, get you to think a little bit about when's the right time to use your pinky, and when's the right time to maybe just use an open string instead. Let's jump into it. Alright, so I'm just going to use a random little phrase to kind of address this idea I've been talking about. Let's take a phrase, let's say, for example, that we have a little phrase in a tune that's in the key of G, and maybe it sounds like this. Something like that. So the notes are B, C, D, E, D, B, G. So historically in my own playing, I would use that open E string. But recently I've been really paying attention more to kind of the tone that's coming out of my instrument, and I've actually started to try to navigate my hands towards using my pinky on the 7th fret of the A string instead of the open E. And, you know, it's the same note, so either one will do the trick. So we're really kind of into more of a stylistic territory here than like a right note at the right time territory. But if we listen to sort of the tone that comes out of the instrument, depending on whether I play the 7th fret or the open string, you'll hear a little bit of a difference here. I'll play it both ways. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's that second phrase, and again. And then with the open E, or sorry, with the pinky on the E string. Again. So again, versus. So there's a couple things that are going on there. In general, I'm a big fan of having strings ring out. I think that adds a lot of depth and interest to the sound of the mandolin. But in this situation, I find that E actually kind of clashes with the rest of the tune because the tune's in G, so having an E ring out can be a little bit dissonant. Kind of still have that E going. And it's also a little bit of a thinner sound. It's not a bad sound necessarily, but I find that the E on the 7th fret, because we're kind of going up from below, B, C, D, E, D, B, G, coming up from below, and that E is our highest note, I think it's a little, the sound and the tone is a little more related to that 5th fret than the open E string. Is just going to add that drone, which is going to be a little bit dissonant in the key of G, and unless you mute it after the fact, you can always go and find some way to mute that E string after you strike it. But I'm finding in my own playing that I'm kind of preferring that 7th fret. It's something that fiddle players do a lot more than I see mandolin players do it. I think in general I navigate towards open strings a little more than your average mandolin player, but now I'm sort of trying to revisit some of that pinky stuff. But I think mandolin players in general navigate towards open strings more than pinkies. There are a lot of great mandolin players who use their pinkies a lot. But I think I learned in a way where it was like, oh, the open string is, you know, doesn't require the pinky. Our pinkies are naturally a little weaker than our other strings, so I'm just going to use the open string. But now, you know, only took me 15 plus years, but oh geez, I mean 20 plus years to figure this out. But a little bit of that pinky move can really help kind of dial in some of the tone and the sound and the details in what you're playing. It's a slight difference, but I'm really enjoying playing around with that and investigating that idea in my own playing. So hopefully you found that helpful, just something I've been thinking about a little bit. I forgot to mention that the name of that tune that I ended up playing, I thought it was just a phrase that was in my head, but it's actually a tune called Leo's Lullaby, a great recently composed tune. But that first phrase is a great way to explore the idea of using your pinky on the 7th fret, of in this case the A string versus the open E string. Play around with it, see what you like better, and yeah, try something new. Hopefully that was helpful, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.